indecision, feeling stuck between choices of what to do, just sitting there while your brain says, do this, 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 or that, or that, or this, or that. Getting in your own way. It's not really about procrastination. It's not really about even indecision. It might not be that you're indecisive. It might not be an intrinsic trait. It could be that there's a part of you, subconscious part of you, that sees inaction as a safety mechanism. Last week, before those couple days where I just started avoiding, see my last video, I was trying to get some stuff done. I was already in a little bit of a stressy state because of some stuff from the day before that. I'm kind of going backward in time in how I'm doing my videos, so I'm probably make another video about the day before too. But long story short, I was thinking about things to do for the day, thinking about what I should try to do. And also I saw that that night was possibly going to be our first frost, and I stuffed some green tomatoes. So I was like, I should really pull those up. Yet I was finding myself not even getting out and doing that, even though I knew that I had limited time because there was some sprinkling going to be coming in a few hours. There was only a few hours of light left. So I knew I had a time limit, but I couldn't get myself to move and do it. Part of my mind was like, oh, I don't want to go out in the cold. I'm like, it's 50 degrees. It's not that bad. So it wasn't really about that. But part of me also wanted to stay and work on the computer, wanted to try to push myself with some videos, or to try to do something creative on the computer, do something on the computer. My mind really likes to stay on the computer. I've been that way for a very long time. I need to actually get away from the computer. Even when I'm not wasting time, it's like that is my main source of things that I do. Double-edged sword, because blah, 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 doesn't matter. I found myself torn between those things, but doing neither one, because I knew I needed to get outside. So I was like, well, I don't want to start with the computer stuff, but I want to do the computer stuff. So I was just sitting there doing nothing. And a lot of what I've been thinking about over the past few weeks has also been asking myself, hey, if you're not pushing yourself enough to really put more stuff out, if you're not trying harder to advertise yourself, and you're trying to think about, well, what's the best way, and then just not doing it as well as I think that I need to. Anytime you're making a choice to do something, or you're just acting in a certain way, doesn't even seem like a choice. Even if consciously you're worried about it and it feels stressful, or you're concerned, there's some part of you in any action that you're doing, whatever you're doing, it means that there's some part of you that thinks that's the best course of action in the moment. Even if a lot of times it's a subconscious part of you, because consciously you're knowing this really isn't the best choice. Like sitting there and not getting out and doing stuff wasn't the best choice, but it was what I was doing. So I asked myself, okay, if I'm doing this right now, that means there's some part of me that thinks this is the best choice. Okay, well, what might that part of me be thinking? Why would there be a part of me that thinks that inaction, not doing either one of the things? When we're not even talking high stakes, go out and pick some tomatoes. We're not talking high stakes. It's not a fear of failure. But I also had the underlying anxieties. I know the overarching anxieties that are just kind of there in general. So I know that, that's also just putting it a little bit harder to do action, even on stuff that isn't high stakes. So I knew that, hey, there's anxiety underneath. It's playing its role, even though this particular thing has no reason to have anxiety. I'm talking too fast. And when I thought about what part of me feels this is the best action, okay, well, what might the belief be? Because first I got to figure out, well, what is that belief? there's this action, so there's some belief. And I thought about it going, well, if I'm not taking action, and anxiety is always around safety, that means that there's some subconscious part of me that perceives inaction as a safety mechanism. I mean, that's what these actions add up to. Even if I'm not sitting there thinking it's a safety, I don't feel it's about safety. Small things in that particular case. I mean, there's bigger things in play too, about future and trying to get on track. And so there's all of that in the mix. But if you're stuck in indecision, if you're doing that, it's because there's some part that believes that. Now, looking back at when I grew up, where I don't have specific memories, just not the way my mind works, but I can see how there would have been a younger part of me that there probably would have been times when inaction would have been the wise thing, would have kept me from getting in trouble. Quite frankly, any child, there's going to be times where inaction is going to keep you from getting in trouble. That's just normal. But also being raised in a very fundamentalist religion, overarching stuff would have been there would have been a lot of things going, not knowing what the right thing is and how to feed into that, going, well, better to not do anything at all. So I can definitely see how pieces of growing up, even if without specific memories, would have contributed to such a subconscious wiring. And what I did then is I still wasn't choosing to take action. I was even thinking I can make a video about this. I'm doing that now. But I went and just actually opened up some AI, and I just simply told it the stuff. I didn't ask it for advice. I wasn't looking for advice. I just said, hey, this is what's happening. This is what I'm making of it. This is my analysis. And I just ended interesting. And then it responded with just a short thing. It just said, Ken, your vegetables are out of timeline. Just get up and go out there. I looked at his thinking process. And his thinking process, it even pointed out, it noticed, he's not looking to discuss. It doesn't appear. It doesn't appear that he's looking for permission. He doesn't appear to be looking for my advice because he's very well articulated what is going on. He fully understands what's happening. He just looks like he's looking for a push, which was exactly what I was doing. I was looking for a pattern interrupt. I was looking for just something going, hey, what's the smallest thing that I could do? If I'm not willing to move right now and I really, really want to keep working with this stuff and get some creativity and some ideas, okay, well, how can I use this to just get me to go outside? I'm not looking for permission either. I didn't want to look for that. I was like, well, I'll just tell what it's doing and see what it says. It's the smallest step I could do that I managed to get myself to do. And it did give me that pattern interrupt. I got outside, went outside for 2 hours, took care of garden stuff, and then spent 2 hours cooking. And then later on, I was talking with it more about that kind of stuff and just kind of piecing together. I'm always very careful about this because I try to make sure I don't get into an echo chamber with it as well. Something you got to be real careful with. Beside the point. But that inaction isn't an intrinsic indecisiveness in us. It's not that we are indecisive, because that's about an identity of who we are. It's that there's a part of us that got wired to subconsciously perceive inaction as a safety mechanism, which is why we can get stuck in these things, related to the underlying anxieties, even if it's not about that particular thing. And even if it doesn't necessarily feel like it's safety, because it's consciously, I'm going, this is not safe. This is not safe. Inaction is not safe. So it's a difference. So that's how I also know it's a subconscious thing, because I'm fully aware that, no, I gotta take action. Life is about action. And sometimes the small action you can do is, well, what's the smallest thing you can do? Just look for some kind of a pattern interrupt, because it can help sometimes. Sometimes, maybe not so much, but hey, it's worth a try, right? So keep that in mind and see about yourself. Is it really that looking at what your actions mean. Seeing how your actions are playing out and going, okay, well, can I reverse engineer this? Can I say, if I have these actions, what might there be in my subconscious mind that could be interpreting this set of actions as somehow beneficial to me, even if it's wrong? Because it kind of helps us to work our ways through these and slowly piece it together and to maybe give ourselves a bit more of that grace and understanding that I've talked about before. It's a step and it helps. And then see if you can find some minimal step to pattern interrupt if you're in the middle of one of those. So, like, share, comment, check out my links in my bio for more information about my coaching, and have a great day. Take care, everyone.